So I tried this recipe with my pork belly, and it was so good. I think I'll be doing this again next week. For today's video, I will show you the step-by-step procedure on how I came up with this delicious pork humba. It might look like pork adobo at first glance, but let me make it clear that this is a different dish. And let me show you how I made this. First, prepare all the ingredients. The recipe calls for banana blossoms, and this is also known as banana heart, which is a fleshy purple skinned flower. It's that tear-shaped thingy that grows at the bottom of the banana fruit cluster. Since the one that I'm using is pre-packaged, I needed to soak it in water just to get rid of the salt and other preservatives. Then I started chopping the onion. You could use any onion here, and you could also use shallots if you want to. The next step is to chop the garlic. I am using 1 head garlic for this recipe. Chop the garlic into small pieces, and you can also crush this if you like. Now, we need to prepare the pork belly. Wash this first and pat dry with paper towels, and cut it into serving pieces. I like to cut mine into large chunks, such as these. And now that you're done with your pork belly, it's time to cook it. Make sure that your wok is extremely hot first, and then put the pork belly in it. Just continue searing until enough oil is extracted from the pork fat. So we'll be using the oil later to saute the garlic and the onion. Also, searing the pork traps the moisture inside, making it tender to the bite. And while you're at it, you'll notice that the outer part of the pork gets crispy and brown. This has something to do with what we call the Maillard reaction, which is basically the caramelization of the sugars and protein from the meat. And you know what that means? Flavor. And when your pork belly gets nice and brown, like this, and enough oil gets extracted, just grab a bowl and transfer the pork belly here. It'll just be temporary. And now you are ready to saute the onion and garlic. As you can see, I added the onion first, followed by the garlic. But that doesn't really matter, as long as you cook it correctly. Make sure that the onion gets really soft and the garlic gets slightly browned before adding in the pork belly. And that's what I'm doing right now. Once the pork belly is back in, give it a quick stir and saute this for about 2 minutes. Make sure to continuously stir while you saute to evenly cook the meat. Now it's time to add the soy sauce and the vinegar. I am using white vinegar for this recipe. Feel free to use distilled vinegar as well. Cover the wok and let the liquid boil. Once it boils, give it a stir again. Continue cooking for about 30 seconds and pour in the lemon lime soda. This is the clear soft drinks. And I'm also using pineapple juice for this recipe. And this is the beef broth. And you can also use water as an alternative ingredient. Now, cover the wok just to let the liquid boil. And once it starts to boil, adjust it to a simmer. Remember the banana blossoms that we soaked initially? This is the time to put it in. Just make sure to squeeze out the excess water and give it a quick stir. Cover and simmer this until the pork tenderizes completely. Depending on the quality of the meat, this could take between 45 to 80 minutes. Now, let's add the salted black beans. This is a very salty ingredient, literally. So I dilute it first in water before putting the beans into the wok. Drain the water off and slowly put the beans in there. And continue cooking this for around 3 minutes. And you know what? We are almost done. So I'm adding in the brown sugar and giving it a quick stir. Just cook this for around 2 minutes. The next ingredient that I'll be adding is optional, and these are bananas. I'm using the Saba variety. You can also use plantains here as an alternative ingredient. Just make sure that your pork is extremely tender before adding the bananas. So just slice the bananas into serving pieces, put them in there, and just continue to cook this for around 5 minutes. And finally, season it with some ground black pepper. And there you have it. That is how I cook my pork humba. Now I'll just be transferring this to a serving plate, and you can enjoy this with warm white rice. Here is our Humba Bisaya. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it to your friends. And I would also like to invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you'll get notified right away on new video uploads. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.